What if I told you that some foods often considered healthy, like eggs, might actually be hindering your performance as a man? And that a modest little bean, easily overlooked, could be the key to stronger erections, improved circulation, and even reversing the shrinkage that quietly diminishes your confidence after age 60? For years, we've been given the same old advice: eat eggs for protein, take medications for energy, and accept that aging means losing your edge. But today, I'm here to question all of that. I'm Dr. Evelyn Blake. For more than 30 years, I've been helping men over 60 regain their vitality, strength, and intimacy without relying on prescriptions or empty promises. I've seen firsthand what truly works and what doesn't. And what I'm about to share with you is based on solid science, clinical experience, and the real-life stories of men who thought their best years were behind them until they gave this one food a try. Because here's a surprising truth: while eggs provide protein, they don't do much to improve blood flow. They don't combat inflammation. They don't restore sensitivity or rebuild the smooth muscle inside the penis that's essential for function. But this particular bean does all of that and more. In fact, it surpasses eggs in almost every area that matters for men's health after 60. In this video, I'll reveal exactly what this bean is, how it benefits your body, and how just a small daily amount can help restore firmness, confidence, and connection in ways you might find hard to believe. So please, stay with me because what you're about to learn could truly transform things. Before we dive in, please be sure to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss out on powerful natural solutions to help you restore your strength, confidence, and performance after 60. And if this topic resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 and let me know how I can better support you on your health journey. Okay, let's get started. Beginning with the most crucial element for achieving strong, lasting erections: blood flow. Because without healthy circulation, nothing else really matters. And this unassuming little bean has been scientifically proven to boost nitric oxide and open up your arteries in a way that few other foods can. Let me explain. First, soybeans stimulate blood flow to the penis like almost nothing else. I'll never forget the expression on Robert's face when he came to my office. He was 64, recently retired, and incredibly frustrated. "Doc," he said, "I still want to be intimate with my wife, but things just don't work the way they used to. It's like my body has forgotten how." And he wasn't alone. What Robert didn't realize, and what many men over 60 aren't told, is that erections aren't just about desire. They're about blood flow. And if blood isn't reaching the right place at the right time, nothing happens. This is where soybeans can make a real difference. You see, the penis is like a sponge. It fills up when blood rushes in. But as we get older, our blood vessels become less flexible, our nitric oxide levels decrease, and that rush becomes more like a trickle. Soybeans, however, are rich in the amino acid arginine, which your body uses to produce nitric oxide, the very compound that signals your blood vessels to open up. In fact, just 1 cup of cooked soybeans contains nearly twice the arginine you'd get from 2 eggs. But that's not all. Soy is also packed with isoflavones, natural plant compounds that help improve the flexibility of your blood vessels and reduce the inflammation that restricts blood flow. When Robert started adding just half a cup of soybeans to his daily routine, he noticed firmer morning erections within just 2 weeks. No pills, no pressure, just real food making a real difference. But blood flow is only one piece of the puzzle. What if I told you that this same bean can also help prevent something that most men fear but rarely talk about: penile shrinkage? Let's discuss that next. Second, they protect against penile shrinkage and tissue loss. This is something no man wants to admit, but nearly every man over 60 experiences it at some point. You look down and things have changed, not just in function, but in size. It's subtle at first: less fullness, less hang, maybe a slight curve you hadn't noticed before, and then it starts to feel permanent. I remember one patient, Thomas, age 68, who came in almost whispering, "Doc, I think I'm shrinking." And the truth is, he wasn't wrong. Penile shrinkage is a real phenomenon, and it's not just in your head. As we age, less blood flows to the area. Testosterone levels decline. And without a regular supply of oxygen and nutrients, the smooth muscle inside the penis begins to weaken. The tissue becomes more fibrous, less elastic. That's when men start to notice changes in size, sensation, and confidence. But here's the good news. Soybeans contain not only nutrients that boost circulation, but also high-quality, complete protein that the penile muscle fibers need to maintain their strength and structure. 1 cup of cooked soybeans provides over 30 grams of plant protein, more than enough to support the tissue that gives your penis its firmness and shape. Add to that the anti-inflammatory power of isoflavones, and you have a food that not only stops shrinkage, it may even help reverse it. Thomas followed my recommendation, half a cup of soybeans a day, plus gentle pelvic stretches. 3 weeks later, he was smiling. "Doc," he said, "I've gotten some of it back." But size is only one aspect of the equation. What about the hormones that keep your desire and your manhood alive? You'll want to hear this next. Third, more testosterone support than you might think. Let's address something right now, because I know what some of you are thinking. Soy, doesn't that lower testosterone? I've heard that question countless times in my office, usually whispered by men who are genuinely concerned that switching to plant-based protein might somehow diminish their masculinity. One of them was Larry, a 71-year-old retired engineer who stared at me with wide eyes and said, "Doc, I'm not trying to grow breasts here. I understand." The myth about soy lowering testosterone has been around for years, and it's made many men avoid something that could actually benefit them. But here's what the science actually shows. Moderate soy intake has no negative effect on testosterone levels in men. In fact, in older men, particularly those dealing with blood sugar issues, inflammation, or low energy, soy may actually support hormone balance. Soybeans help in 2 significant ways. First, they're rich in magnesium and zinc, both essential for healthy testosterone production. Second, soy may reduce levels of sex hormone-binding globulin, or SHBG, a protein that binds to testosterone and makes it unusable. Lower SHBG means more free testosterone, the kind that actually fuels libido, motivation, and performance. When Larry replaced his daily eggs and sausage with a soy smoothie in the morning, not only did his energy improve, but he started waking up with stronger morning erections and an overall better mood. He looked at me and said, "I feel like a man again." But what about sensation? What about that spark you used to feel with just a touch? That's where this story gets even more interesting. Keep watching. Fourth, it rebuilds sensitivity, nerve function, and emotional vitality. I'll never forget when Carl, a 66-year-old retired school principal, looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I still love my wife. I want to be close to her, but I barely feel anything anymore." He wasn't talking about emotions. He was talking about physical sensation, that dullness, that fading connection between touch and pleasure. And let me assure you, he's not alone. Many men over 60 experience this gradual numbing, not just in the body, but sometimes in the heart as well. What most don't realize is that this loss of sensitivity isn't just about aging. It's about nerve health and neurotransmitter balance, both of which start to decline as we get older. That's where soybeans step in as a quiet but powerful ally. Rich in B vitamins like folate and B6, soy helps nourish the nerves responsible for arousal and sensation. These vitamins support the myelin sheath, the protective layer around your nerves, keeping signals strong and responsive. But there's more. Soy is high in tyrosine, an amino acid your brain uses to produce dopamine, the chemical that fuels pleasure, motivation, and desire. When dopamine levels rise, so does your spark, not just in the bedroom, but in life. After 3 weeks of adding soy to his meals, Carl sat in my office and said, "It's like something woke up. I feel more connected, more alive." And that connection between body, brain, and emotion is incredibly powerful. But what if I told you that this same bean could also protect your heart while strengthening your erections? Let's talk about that next. Fifth, soybeans support both heart health and erectile strength. When I first started practicing medicine, I used to treat heart health and sexual health as separate issues. But after 30 years of working with older men, I've learned an undeniable truth. If your heart isn't pumping strongly, neither is your erection. That may sound blunt, but it's the reality that many men face after 60. I remember Walter, a 72-year-old retired postal worker, who came in after his second stent procedure. He looked down, frustrated, and said, "Doc, I'm alive, but I feel like half a man." Here's the connection that most doctors don't explain. The arteries that supply blood to your penis are smaller and more delicate than those around your heart. So, when plaque builds up, when inflammation increases, or when the blood vessels stiffen with age, it's your erection that suffers first. Soybeans offer a powerful way to protect both. Clinical studies show that regular soy consumption helps reduce LDL cholesterol, lower blood pressure, and decrease markers of inflammation. That means better arterial flexibility and smoother, more reliable blood flow. For Walter, it meant waking up after weeks of soy-based meals feeling something he hadn't felt in months, morning wood. He smiled and said, "I didn't expect that, but I'll take it." So, yes, protecting your heart isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about bringing life back to your years and to your bedroom. And what's amazing is that this humble bean might even outperform eggs, the so-called perfect protein. But is that really true? Let's take a closer look. Sixth, better than eggs. Here's the comparison. For decades, eggs have been celebrated as the ultimate superfood for men, affordable, high in protein, and packed with nutrients. I've had countless patients tell me, "Doc, I eat eggs every morning. Isn't that enough to keep me strong?" And don't misunderstand me, eggs are a good food. But when it comes to supporting blood flow, fighting inflammation, and keeping your manhood strong after 60, soybeans may actually have the advantage. Let's look at the numbers. 1 cup of cooked soybeans provides over 31 grams of protein. That's nearly 3 times what you'd get from 2 large eggs. But it's not just about quantity, it's about what that protein does. Soybeans deliver more arginine, the amino acid that helps your body produce nitric oxide for better erections. They also provide far more magnesium, which supports testosterone, nerve sensitivity, and muscle relaxation, all critical for sexual function. Then there's fiber. Soybeans have up to 15 grams per cup, while eggs have 0. That fiber helps lower inflammation, regulate hormones, and feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut, something we now know plays a role in erectile health, too. Even the antioxidants in soybeans, like isoflavones, offer heart and circulation benefits that eggs simply can't match. So, when my patients ask, "Doc, should I choose eggs or soy?" I often tell them, why not both? But if you had to pick one for your manhood, go with the bean. Now, the real question is, how do you actually incorporate soybeans into your daily routine to feel the difference? That's what we'll cover next. 7th, how to use soybeans for maximum erectile benefits. Now that you know what soybeans can do, the next question is, how do you actually work them into your life without completely changing your meals? I get that question all the time from patients who've never even tried a soybean in their life. Frank, age 69, used to chuckle and say, "Doc, I've only seen tofu at my daughter's house in California." But a few simple changes helped him turn that humble bean into a daily routine, and the results were more than worth it. You don't need to become a health fanatic. You don't have to give up your favorite meals. All it takes is consistency and a little creativity. Try steaming a handful of edamame, those bright green baby soybeans you can find in the freezer section. Sprinkle them with sea salt and enjoy them as an afternoon snack. Or blend silken tofu into your morning smoothie with banana, cinnamon, and a splash of almond milk. It's creamy, satisfying, and packed with protein. Stir-fry firm tofu with garlic and broccoli for a dinner that fuels your manhood without spiking your cholesterol. Even roasted soy nuts can be tossed into trail mix or salads for a quick crunch and a boost of blood flow supporting nutrients. The key is finding what fits your lifestyle and building it into your day, one small habit at a time. And if you're still not convinced, wait until you hear what happened when one of my patients added soy to his diet and saw changes in just 3 weeks. The results were remarkable. Let me tell you his story next. 8th, real results from real men. Some of the most valuable lessons I've learned in medicine didn't come from textbooks. They came from listening to men like Jerry. He was 67, a retired firefighter. And when he walked into my office, he was quiet but clearly frustrated. "Doc," he said, "I feel like I'm disappearing down there. I'm doing everything right, walking every day, eating eggs, taking my vitamins, but nothing's happening." I looked at Jerry's lab results, listened to his story, and told him something simple. Let's try adding just half a cup of soybeans to your meals twice a day. Don't change anything else for now. Let's see what your body does with real, functional fuel. He gave me a skeptical look but agreed. 3 weeks later, he was back in my office, this time smiling. "Doc," he said, "I don't know if it's the beans or what, but I'm waking up hard again. My wife noticed, I noticed, and I feel like myself again. What Jerry experienced wasn't magic. It was science in action. The right nutrients, delivered consistently, began restoring blood flow, sensitivity, and confidence. That's what happens when we feed the body what it truly needs to heal. And if you're thinking, but soy doesn't sit well with me, or I've had gas from beans before, don't worry. There are easy ways to make soy work for your system without discomfort. Let me show you how to do it right, so your gut and your manhood both thank you. 9th, overcoming digestive issues. One of the first objections I hear when I recommend soybeans is, "Doc, I'd love to try it, but beans tear me up." And trust me, I understand. Gas, bloating, discomfort, it's enough to make any man give up before the benefits even have a chance to kick in. I remember Richard, a 70-year-old Navy veteran, who gave soy a shot for just 2 days and called me up saying, "My wife said I can't eat that stuff unless I start sleeping outside." But here's what most men don't know. There's a right way to prepare beans, especially for older digestive systems. First, soak dried soybeans overnight in water with a pinch of baking soda. That simple step can cut the gas-producing compounds by up to 90%. Second, use a pressure cooker. It softens the fiber and breaks down the tough parts of the bean, making them much easier to digest. And third, start slow. 2 tablespoons a day is enough to get your gut microbiome adjusting without overwhelming your system. Within a couple of weeks, most men tolerate them just fine, and many even notice improved digestion overall. You can also add a little fresh ginger, cumin, or bay leaf when cooking. These spices act like natural digestive aids, and cultures around the world have used them for centuries. When Richard followed those steps, he not only kept the peace at home, he kept the beans in his diet. And the benefits didn't stop there. Because here's the real secret, soybeans aren't just food, they're fuel. And when you combine the right nutrients with the right mindset, something remarkable happens. Let me bring it all together now. 10th, the takeaway. Give this bean a chance. I've spent over 3 decades working with men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, and I can tell you this with absolute certainty. Your body still wants to work. It's not broken. It's not beyond repair. It just needs the right support. And sometimes that support comes in the most unexpected forms, like a simple bean you've probably passed over in the grocery store 100 times. The soybean isn't a miracle pill. It doesn't promise overnight change, but it does offer something real, steady, natural support for your circulation, hormone balance, nerve health, and confidence as a man. Day by day, it nourishes the very systems that keep your manhood alive, without side effects, without shame, and without breaking the bank. I've seen men go from discouraged to empowered, from soft to strong, from numb to alive again, just by making this one small change. And every time I hear "Doc, I feel like myself again," I'm reminded why I do this work. So, if you've been feeling the decline, if you've noticed the slow fade of performance, sensation, or desire, I want to invite you to take back what's been yours. You don't need to rely on eggs alone. You don't need another bottle of pills. What you need is real nourishment. And sometimes that starts with just half a cup of beans. Because your best days aren't behind you. They're waiting to be reclaimed, one choice at a time, starting today.